Good evening. Starting a little late tonight. I had a really busy day today, worked in the yard, and so hence the rough look. But I promised myself I was going to do this every night, so every day during the pandemic. So I didn't want to skip tonight. It's 10:30. I'm exhausted. I hurt all over. Um, it's been a weird day today for me. So the governor came on. We're in Louisiana. The governor came on this afternoon at 12:30 and said that if we do what we're supposed to do, and if the rate of rate of contamination, or whatever you want to call it, infection, if it slows down or peaks, then this is a temporary measure. However, if 2 weeks from now, if the rate doesn't slow down, then we're going to have to get tighter on our restrictions, because because people are going to die. And we don't want that to happen. So right now, we're in day 3, and I think yesterday or the day before, they, they keep tightening the limits a little more each day, making this, a process rather than an urgent thing that happens overnight. So first thing, we were required to limit gatherings of 250 people. Then it was 50 people, and now we're limiting gatherings of 10 people. They've closed the bars and the restaurants, really across the nation. Most states, they're closing restaurants and bars. Restaurants except for takeout. So support your local restaurants by ordering and picking up curbside, and picking up service. I know it's a scary time. This is it's very surreal to us. And again, we're just in day 3 of the restrictions in Louisiana. And on the one hand, it feels kind of like I'm in an episode of The Walking Dead, and we're getting ready for complete society collapse, and every man for himself, especially, again, referencing the toilet paper situation. But understand we're all in this together. This is not my issue. It's not your issue. It's a world issue. It is a world issue. Every nation has been affected. And so it's a really weird time. And I'm going to try and explain my emotions, because they're not going to make a whole lot of sense, except that it's, I guess, a type of a grieving process. So you have your denial stage, your anger, sadness, acceptance, whatever. On the one hand, it's going to get real uncomfortable, and that's okay, because, I've lived a really long life, and I've seen a whole lot of stuff, so I'm accustomed to being uncomfortable. And people are going to get sick, and people are going to die, and you like to think that that's not going to happen to those close to you, but the reality is it might be someone that you know and love. But the other thing that's kind of when I step back and look at the whole picture, the big picture, our world has been a very painful place to live for a lot of people for a really long time. There have been many wars over religion, economy, so many things that, in all honesty, we should be fighting over. I don't understand. I have no concept of fighting and killing people in the name of religion, especially when the basic concept of religion is peace and love, all religions. But anyway, that aside, for the first time in my life, and probably the first time in a lot of generations, this particular epidemic is it's silent, it's quiet, it's sneaky. It's very sneaky. So the tests aren't quite that accurate yet. And as the rate increases significantly every day, we don't know if those are new infections, or if, in all honesty, people have just been walking around with what we thought was the flu, but really it's been the coronavirus. It is rapidly increasing at a frightening rate. And every time you check the news, there's another death and there's another infection in your local community, not even in the world, like in my state. But for the first time in my lifetime, everybody in the world has the same enemy, and we're all fighting the same fight. The coronavirus doesn't care if you're rich. It doesn't care if you're poor. It doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian. It doesn't care if you're black, white, Asian. It doesn't care if you are gay or straight. It doesn't care. Matter of fact, it doesn't care if you're rich or poor. And a matter of fact, a lot of wealthy people are in a compromised state. I'm sorry, I'm tired. In a compromised state, just because they travel a lot, so they've been exposed at a higher rate. We've got NBA players, we've got celebrities, and I don't wish ill on anyone. It's it just seems like for the first time in my lifetime, we're all on the same team. We should have been all along, but we're all on the same team. We're all fighting the same enemy. So this is going to be a long, arduous, painful experience. Economy's going to bust. But the good news is that, you know, we're all in the same position. So they're not allowing foreclosures or evictions. Your utility company can't cut your utilities off. Most of us probably won't have a job at the end of this, but we'll take care of each other because that's just what we do as human beings. Again, you know, I'm going to do for you. I hope you would do for me and mine, and we'll have each other's backs. So rest assured, we're all in this together, and hang in there. There's going to be some painful days ahead. They're predicting possibly 18 months of this pandemic event. We'll see how that goes. Today, working from home was not as easy as I thought it would be, because when you're at home, everyone that sees you knows you're at home, and they want to talk to you, and they want you to sit down and have lunch with them and visit with them. And you go down to get a drink of to get a Coke or drink a coffee, and you notice the dishes, and you do the dishes, and you cut into your productivity. So I decided, and I told my staff, it's probably just wise for us to create a remote office. Use your closet if you need to. Anything that has a door, and you could put a do not disturb sign on. So I'm lucky we have an RV, and I have made my remote office in my RV. And so I'm going to let you see it real quick. It's not fancy, but it's mine. And I spent the better part of this evening setting it up and getting it where I need it to be. I'm having, something else we didn't anticipate. So I work at a community college. I mentioned that before. And we have all the bells and whistles and technology. Well, at home, not so much. You know, my internet's a little hinky, and sometimes it drops. So we're on we're on conference calls, and people bump out and bump in. So it's not quite like camping, but not quite like being at work either. So here's my office, my little remote office, in my dinette in my RV. So I got little organizational tools, picture frames, so I can put my loved ones in here with me, and my laptop. Please forgive the hot mess over there. And then I had just made a coffee station for my staff. So here's my little coffee station over there, so I can feel right at home in my home office, because